Tonight on Cronkite News, Attorney General Chris Mays settling a $7 million lawsuit with one of the major utility companies here in our state. We'll tell you how it could impact your monthly bill.
Plus, the deadline for Chandler's affordable housing lottery is approaching, how families are reacting.
And a hard loss for the Suns, but we'll tell you how the team still has a chance to keep the season alive. Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Eric Matsumoto.
And I'm Rena Majalay. Thank you for joining us.
Big changes are taking effect starting today for customers of Arizona Public Service. Now, the power company will not shut off power during extreme heat and extreme cold. Cronkite News reporter Emily Fox-Millian heard from the Attorney General, who announced these changes as part of a $7 million settlement. Emily?
Yeah, this settlement comes after an 82-year-old woman, Catherine Corman, died in 2024. She was found in her home without air conditioning in temps nearing 100 degrees. She had missed several electric bills and APS shut off her power. Now APS can't shut off power when temperatures are expected to reach 95 degrees or higher, no matter what time of year. The old system only banned shutoffs starting May 1st. But as we know, 100-degree temperatures can come as early as March, and the state says thousands of customers were shut off in April and May 2024. Now APS must also do more to warn customers before shutting off power, including adding text alerts and expanding programs that can notify family members if someone may be at risk. The Arizona Attorney General also said this includes funding for customers behind on payments and millions going towards consumer protection and outreach, adding a warning to other utility companies.
95 degrees is dangerous and can kill people. And if somebody dies on their watch with a date-based policy, we're coming after them too.
State leaders are now pushing other utilities, including Salt River Project, Tucson Electric Power, and Unisource Energy Services, to make similar changes. In a statement to Cronkite News, APS says it disagrees with the Attorney General's statements and is expanding customer support programs and protections beyond state laws. In the newsroom, Emily Fox-Millian, Cronkite News.
Thanks, Emily. As those utility protections go into effect, Arizona is getting attention for its unaffordability. A new study by the Common Sense Institute placed Arizona 45th for affordability out of all 50 states. Other rankings that factored into our overall affordability score were 42nd in price of gas, 45th in the price of groceries, and 47th in the cost of housing. The state's ranking has plummeted since 2019, when Arizona was 33rd.
For folks looking for housing support, families in Chandler have less than 2 days left to apply for the Affordable Housing Lottery. The city will randomly select 350 low-income families to get onto a wait list for a chance at subsidized housing. Families who are hoping to move into price-controlled homes will have to fall under income limits based on the size of their household. There's a real shortage of housing available. The city says that if you apply and are not selected, you have to apply again next time the wait list opens.
The biggest thing is that we're opening it for our families. 3, 4, and 5 bedroom units are very hard to find in the valley. So it is a great opportunity for larger families to potentially have some subsidized housing here.
For the 350 families that are chosen, the city plans to send notifications in a few weeks. Again, the application process closes on Friday, April 17th at noon.
Maricopa County is warning residents in Queen Creek of some possible measles exposures earlier this month. The Department of Public Health says possible exposure sites were at the Costco on Ellsworth Road, the Walmart on Rittenhouse Road, or Generation Church in Queen Creek between April 3rd to April 5th. The department is asking for people to watch for symptoms and check their vaccination status. Typical signs of measles include high fever, cough, a runny nose, or a rash. If you do develop symptoms, stay home and consult a healthcare provider.
Coming up next, an ICE facility is looking to move to Flagstaff as they sign lease for office space.
This move surprising northern Arizona and creating concern for the immigrant community.
Flagstaff isn't out protesting this. They've protested other immigration rights issues in the past, but are afraid of being detained.
We'll tell you what we've learned about the facility coming up on Cronkite News.
Plus, will these spring temperatures persist, or are we looking at an early summer? Our full forecast coming up.
Welcome back. President Trump wants to extend a controversial surveillance law.
But the president needs the help of lawmakers to push it past its expiration date. The law is set to expire on Monday, and it allows officials to gather foreign phone calls and texts of wanted subjects. Supporters say the law has been crucial to military operations in Venezuela and Iran. Those against say the process can also collect American data. And there are groups on both sides of the aisle against the law, believing it infringes on citizens' privacy. Meanwhile, Flagstaff could be seeing more immigration and customs enforcement activity soon.
That's right. This comes after the announcement of an ICE facility set to open in the mountain town. Our Cronkite News reporters are here for a roundtable discussion to tell you what's going on.
We're here with Cronkite News reporter Dermot Stevenson and Audrey Lippert. These two were out reporting in Flagstaff last week on the potential opening of an ICE facility. Dermot, can you tell us a little bit about your visit?
Yes, we visited Flagstaff last week after reports from Keep Flagstaff Together and the city of Flagstaff put out a statement stating that ICE was potentially opening an office in the area. Last week, ICE actually did sign a lease to confirm an office space in Flagstaff. Their office is actually a mile away from the Northern Arizona University as well.
And Audrey, what's been the response from community members and residents in the area?
In general, it seems like residents are pretty surprised that ICE is opening an office in Flagstaff. They seem to regard immigration enforcement as a Phoenix problem, not something they typically see in northern Arizona. But there are some people in the community who are excited for ICE to come in. They believe that the local sheriff's department and police department need some help with immigration enforcement and believe that ICE will support them.
And Dermot, any word on exactly what these offices will be used for?
Unfortunately, no. We reached out to the Department of Homeland Security with no comments. We don't know right now the specificity of how big the office is. We don't know how many agents are going to be stationed there. We don't know if it's just going to be ICE or Homeland Security investigations or enforcement and removal operations. We also don't know if there's going to be any detainees held at that facility as well.
That is one thing that a lot of immigration rights activists in the area are concerned about, is the detainment facilities and if people will be put there for a longer time than they're supposed to. At the Mesa Gateway Airport, there's been talk of people being held for multiple days and more than the supposed 12 hours that people are supposed to have. So people in the area are really worried about that, and that's one of the reasons why the immigrant community in Flagstaff isn't out protesting this. They've protested other immigration rights issues in the past, but are afraid of being detained.
And while we're not sure if that's going to happen in Flagstaff, have you heard anything from local officials on this?
Local officials know. The city of Flagstaff and Flagstaff Police Department have both put out statements saying they will not support or kind of enforce any immigration enforcement in Flagstaff. And the city of Flagstaff has not received any requests from ICE to work on any of their city facilities.
Dermot, Audrey, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for that reporting and for getting us the updates we need.
Make sure you check out the full story online at cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Severe weather is rolling through the Midwest this week, damaging several communities, including Sussex, Wisconsin.
Parts of the town were flooded and homes were damaged from extreme winds. The extreme weather has blown down trees, causing power outages across the area. WE Energies is currently repairing downed power lines. Extreme winds damaged homes and ripped off a church's roof. NWS expects more showers and thunderstorms this week. They issued a hazardous weather outlook, warning residents about large hail and hazardous winds. Through this, severe weather will not be hitting our state anytime soon.
Maybe we can send them our sun and spring temperatures. Bentley Yank joins us now from the Cronkite Weather Center with our forecast.
That's right, guys. We are taking a look at our evening for tonight for our Wednesday night. Here's what to expect. At 6 p.m., 84 degrees, then we go down 9 degrees to 75 at 10. So looking pretty nice for our Wednesday evening. Now for our lows, we are definitely getting cooler tonight at 62 degrees in Metro Phoenix. Up north at the Grand Canyon, 28 degrees, and Flagstaff at 32. So definitely chillier up there. Now you read that right. The highs drop under 90, 88 degrees in Metro Phoenix, up north looking pretty nice, but we see no triple digits on the map for tomorrow. And let's take a look at our week. So next we are heating up, but however, we will not see those triple digits. Our average is 61 and 85, and it looks like we are staying around the average. Thursday, tomorrow, 88 degrees for our high and 61 for the low. Staying around there, the double digits. The highest is going to be on Sunday at 95 degrees, and the highest low will be on our Monday at 71. For the Cronkite Weather Center, I'm Bentley Yank. Back to you.
Thanks, Bentley. Coming up next, thousands hit the streets of Tempe for the 22nd annual Pat's Run.
With active duty military veterans and families all running in honor of former Sun Devil and Army Ranger Pat Tillman.
Very special to memorialize him. He died in the War and Terror, so terrible story overall, but great person, great event.
How the 4.2-mile race continues to honor Tillman, coming up on Cronkite News.
But it really came down to stops. I thought all night we really struggled to keep them out of the paint, which they're elite at.
That was Phoenix Suns head coach Jordan Knott after a tough loss in the Valley last night. Welcome to the Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Justin Lacertosa. Thank you for joining us. We'll start on the hardwood, and it's postseason time in the NBA. Last night, the Phoenix Suns hosted the Western Conference's first play-in game against the Portland Trail Blazers. If you only saw the box score, you missed a pretty wild ride. Certainly a game that featured playoff intensity down to the last whistle. So for more on the story of the Suns' first postseason game, here's our Jacob Brooks.
Final possession heartbreak. The Phoenix Suns had their shining moment to punch a ticket to the postseason Tuesday night, but fell to the Trailblazers 114-110.
I mean, that's been the story of the end of our season so far, and I think we just need to remain aggressive. I think we get a little lead and kind of slow down a little bit.
Throughout the regular season, the Suns were a top 10 defense in both points allowed in the paint and points allowed in transition. But when this scrappy back and forth play-in game finally reached its climax, it was an inability to get stops right here in the painted area that ultimately led to Phoenix's demise.
But it really came down to stops. I thought all night we really struggled to keep them out of the paint, which they're elite at.
The main downhill disruptor for the Blazers was Denny Avdia, who finished with 41 points in his first career postseason game. But the way he got that 40 ball had mixed reviews, with praise from Jordan Knott.
41 points, 12 assists. I thought he was phenomenal.
And shade from Jalen Green, who had a team-high 35 points of his own.
They got to call that both ways if they're going to call it for one person all night. So, that's my opinion.
The Suns will have to rebound quickly as they're now faced with a winner-go-home matchup on Friday night against the winner of Clippers versus Warriors.
The goal is get in. Just get in any way possible. We got to move on. We got to move on. It sucks. These are hard to take, but there's stuff to learn in here that we got to learn fast and do everything we can to get ready for Friday night.
The good news, though, that game will once again be at home.
I think that's the big key to getting the 7 seed. You have 2 shots at this thing on your home court. Thought it was great atmosphere, especially there in the fourth quarter. we'll need it again Friday.
It's been a tumultuous season for the Valley faithful, and it'll all come to a head Friday night to see if the playoff sun will once again rise in Phoenix. From the Mortgage Matchup Center, Jacob Brooks, Cronkite News.
For Suns fans who are anxiously awaiting who Friday's opponent is going to be, tip-off between the Warriors and Clippers is set for 7 p.m. Arizona time tonight. The 2025 Sun Devils finished dead last in the Big 12 in punting, second worst in kickoffs, and third worst in field goals. The Sun Devils were forced to make a change at special teams coordinator after Charlie Regal stepped down due to health issues. On came Jack Nudo, who's in his first spring practice as full-time special teams coordinator in Tempe. He now looks to improve the unit with returners Carson Kiefer and Kenyon Floyd, along with newcomers Nick McClarty and Carson Smith. Nudo says the main way to right the ship on special teams is by limiting mistakes and increasing repetition.
No MEs, no mental errors, missed assignments, just clean, disciplined football, putting everything together, everything that we've worked on, and then just seeing guys apply our fundamentals. But most importantly with the specialists, just consistency so that we can do it in the team setting.
With only a handful of spring practices remaining, more work needs to be done for a unit that was among the worst in the nation. An improved special teams unit can help the Sun Devils get back to the top of the Big 12. The 22nd annual Pats Run went down last Saturday, an event many Arizonans consider the biggest day of the year, not just because of what Tillman was able to do on the field, but the impact he made after his playing career. Our Andrew Neeram was at Pats Run and now joins us from the Sports Bureau. Andrew, take it away.
Pat Tillman played football for Arizona State in the 1990s, where he did garner many accolades. Tillman then played 4 years for the Arizona Cardinals. After the September 11th attacks, he enlisted in the U.S. Army and became an Army Ranger. After 2 years of service, he was killed in friendly fire in Afghanistan. Now Tillman's legacy is being honored as an Army veteran and as a distinguished Arizona State alum.
At 5 a.m., the streets were closed with no one around. But just 2 hours later, veteran and comedian Rob Riggle was signaling the first wave of nearly 30,000 people to start their race. Active duty military, veterans, and family members all coming together for a 4.2-mile run through Tempe in honor of Pat Tillman.
Very special to memorialize him. He died in the war on terror, so terrible story overall, but great person, great event.
With Tillman's strong connection to Arizona State, where he was a standout on the football field for the Sun Devils, the school has hosted the run every April near the anniversary of his passing.
I think it's awesome, especially since he played here, and just the pride that people have around this area. The energy is outstanding. It's awesome.
Runners embark on a 4.2-mile course that starts by crossing Tempe Town Lake to the north, before heading west, then crossing back to the south. From there, it's a final push into Mountain America Stadium, where they'll finish at the 42-yard line. Right next to the Pat Tillman statue donning number 42, the same one that Arizona State retired.
That hill was hidden. Nobody really told us about that, so that was a killer. But no, it was a great race. Tons of people trying to weave through the crowds, but it was awesome seeing. I think I heard 30,000 people here, so awesome.
The Pat Tillman Foundation also hosted a virtual run, giving people outside Arizona a chance to take part and pay tribute. From the Sports Bureau, Andrew Neeram, Cronkite News.
Thank you, Andrew. Well, love and legacy goes hand in hand with America's favorite pastime. This ASU baseball player has a chance of making MLB history over 75 years in the making. Cronkite News reporter Raina Majalay has more on the story.
For ASU superstar Landon Hairston, baseball isn't just about the wins and losses. It is about family, love, and continuing a legacy that started long before he picked up a bat.
Not a lot of kids can say that they travel around in the big leagues with their dad, so it was a really cool experience, and that motivated me from the start. So carrying that on, now that he's not playing, carrying it on through this is definitely huge.
For 3 generations, the Hairstons have been part of Major League Baseball. Now Landon has the chance to make history. But for his family, the milestone is about more than a record. It is about continuing a legacy built on generations of love for the game. Landon's dad, uncle, great-uncle, grandfather, and great-grandfather all played ball at the highest level. Should Landon get drafted, the Hairstons will become the first family in Major League Baseball history to have 4 generations play professionally.
There's no denying that he's going to be asked a lot about his family history in baseball. And he's always been appreciative of that. But again, you know, as a dad that has been a ball player, I've explained to him, hey, you're in the batter's box. We're not in the batter's box with you. So, you know, this is your career.
It all started in the summer of 1951 with Landon's great-grandfather, Sam Hairston, who broke barriers as the first African-American player for the Chicago White Sox. His impact goes beyond his own playing career.
It started with my grandfather, and my grandfather, of course, worked very, very hard to, you know, be able to play in the big leagues. Being African-American, and, you know, of course, my uncles and my dad, and all of that, you know, advice that was just passed down to generation to generation, you know, I shared with both my boys.
The Valley native's father, Scott Hairston, who began his MLB career with the Arizona Diamondbacks, is at nearly every ASU baseball game. For Landon, his dad's guidance is helping him carve his own path while still honoring the family name.
That's huge, having your dad in the stands, someone who's done it. He's seen me grow up playing the game, so he knows when I'm off and when I'm on. So he kind of puts me back in my place if I need it.
Back here in Tempe, Landon was named ASU's 38th freshman All-American and will be MLB draft eligible in 2027 with hopes to break a long-awaited record for this notable family.
When you see your family members every day and seeing what they've went through and hearing stories about what they went through, it's definitely shaped my career and my life, really.
In Tempe, Rena Majolet, Cronkite News.
Yeah, Landon recently tied the Sun Devil program record for most Grand Slams in a single season. This power hitter is right on track to break plenty more records in his future. That's going to do it for tonight's Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Justin Lacertosa. Thank you for joining us. Now back to Eric and Rena at the desk.
Thanks, Justin. Coming up next, Washington, D.C. is expecting a ton of fun as a new animal prepares to make its debut at the National Zoo.
After 25 years, the zoo has their first baby elephant and they're ready to show her off. We'll tell you when people will get to see this baby elephant in her first exhibit coming up on Cronkite News.
Welcome back. As the U.S. becomes more confident that Iran talks will continue, oil markets begin to calm.
Prices dropped below $100 a barrel today. While oil costs are down, there was a slight increase in the price of some other types of oil like WTI and Brent crude. President Donald Trump is confident in future talks with Iran, but experts warn that a solution to the war won't resolve the fuel crisis immediately. The International Monetary Fund is predicting a global oil shortfall this year. Today is tax day, meaning it's the deadline for most filing federal and state income tax returns.
But no worries if you didn't mark your calendars or still need some more time. Procrastinating taxpayers can request a 6-month extension to avoid facing a late filing fee. Yet even with the extension, filers should pay an estimate of what they owe to avoid a late payment penalty. But if you're ready to go and looking to file last minute, experts recommend using electronic filing or requesting a dated local postmark if you're mailing in person. Finally tonight, Washington, D.C. will have a chance to see the debut of a new addition at the National Zoo.
That's right. A baby of a critically endangered species will be shown to the public on a special day. Lin Mai is the first elephant born at the zoo in 25 years. She's a part of the endangered Asian elephant species. The public will be able to see her starting on April 22nd, Earth Day. Unfortunately, after her birth, her mother rejected her. Since then, she's been bottle fed by the workers. Another elephant, Swarna, has stepped in to raise her.
That's it for tonight's edition of Cronkite News. I'm Eric Matsumoto.
And I'm Rena Majalet. Thank you for joining us.
And to see top Arizona stories anytime, log on to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.